Unacademy. Let's crack it.
Hello students, I'm back again. Now we are going to basically see the polity analysis. As we know, there have been 18 questions from polity. The questions have been quite unconventional, no doubt about it. Questions have been unconventional, but again polity is a subject where the risk is always mitigated because you will have ample direct questions also. And if you notice, there is one question that has been constantly asked for the last 2-3 years, that is about the purpose of the constitution. The purpose of the constitution is limited government. That has been the emphasis since beginning. So let's look at the questions that have been asked. As I said, it is 18 questions. Karan, anything to do with, you have asked how to relate polity questions to current affairs. Anything to do with anything in news with regard to laws, anything in news regard to polity. Whenever a term is used, it is very important that you have to know the meaning of the term. For example, judicial custody is something that has been constantly in news. Parole is something that has been constantly in news. So, you know, when you come across such legal terms, curative petition, you come across all these legal terms, it's always better to know the meaning of these legal terms. That is very, very important for you. Okay. Polity, Uma, has been 18 questions. Polity, they have been consistent. They have, it is always in the range of 12 to 20 questions. So, polity is 18 questions this year. We will. We are going to Zoom. They are just opening the polity part of the slides. We are going to Zoom. Hi, Ria. Hello. Nikhil, 1 minute. One after the other, Sayan. Once polity is over, then you'll have economy analysis, you'll have geography, environment, science and technology, current affairs. Everything will be done. So don't worry. It is one area after the other. Jack, as I said, it is too early to predict the cutoff because, you know, the paper has just come. It is relative performance, so we have to get the idea as to how students have been performing across India. But looking at the paper, I mean, when we analyze, we teachers, I believe that it is going to be the same as last year, around 95 maybe, because the paper, as I said, is not traditional. अनिल, सबसे पहली चीज़ आपको याद रखना है कि आपको पेपर, you know, this is an English stream, so I will not be using Hindi. You have to read the paper properly. You have to focus on fundamental things in the paper, basic essential terms. As I said, if you notice, even in other areas, they've been asking questions on terms. So it is about how diligently, how carefully you read the paper. Newspaper is the most important part. Maximum questions are from history. We've already done that. Now polity is ready. We are going to start with the analysis. Let's look at the questions. Now before I start, I would like to tell you all, now whatever key we are giving is tentative. It is closest to the correct option. We are going to give you a detailed explanation along with the source in today in special classes, the link of which is shared in the comments in the description. Please click on the link. Please join the special classes for a more detailed explanation. Okay. The level of question 1, this is a very simple question. It is based out on Supreme Court judgments. Over the last 3-4 years, if you notice, every year there is at least one question based on Supreme Court judgments. So, Supreme Court judgments basically related to fundamental rights, where they attribute some new right, they construe a new right as a part of fundamental right. There you will have questions. Now, this is related to Justice Puttaswamy versus Union of India, and the answer is C. Article 121, Article 21, right to privacy is declared as a part of Article 21. Moving on, the next question, 80, This is a question which you can answer through elimination method, because the options, this is based out on RP Act. In India, there is no law restricting the candidates from contesting in one Lok Sabha election from three one Lok Sabha election from 3 constituencies. It is not 3. In 1996 reforms, they restricted it into 2. Okay, so 1 is incorrect. When 1 is incorrect, I eliminate 1 and 3. Alright. Now, in 1991 Lok Sabha election, Sri Devi Lal contested from 3 Lok Sabha constituencies is correct, because then it was allowed. Okay. As per the existing rules, if a candidate contests in one Lok Sabha election from many constituencies, her party should bear the expenditure of the by-elections. This is not a rule in India, it is proposed by Election Commission of India. It is a proposed electoral reform which has not yet been approved. Okay, so this is wrong. 1 and 3 are ruled out, which means this is also ruled out. The first one is also ruled out. We are left with B as the answer. B is the correct answer for this. Okay, this is basically based on RP Act. See, you know, this question tells us one thing, that the exam does not have prelims and mains. It is a holistic exam for which you have to prepare in a holistic manner. So, you know, if you have left out RP Act thinking that it is a mains topic, answering this would be difficult. Now, moving on, let's look at the next question. This is again one of those unconventional questions. I would say that this is current based question, because it is based out on one term which is continuously in news, that is judicial custody. Now, the first statement says judicial custody means an accused is in the custody of the concerned magistrate, correct, and such accused is locked up in the police station, wrong. He is locked up in jail. He is not locked up in police station, he is locked up in jail. If it is police custody, we say it is police custody. If it is with the police, we say he is in police custody. During judicial custody, the police officer in charge of the case is not allowed to interrogate the suspect without the approval of the court. This is correct. The reason why this is correct is, see, you know, this part is wrong, therefore the statement is wrong. The reason why this is correct is, court specifically says this person will be in judicial custody for 14 days. However, the police can interrogate this person every day from 9 AM to 1 PM. So, they specify the time. Without the permission of the court, you cannot interrogate. That is the reason the answer would be B. Okay. Moving on, the next question. One minute, we are continuing. Till then, if you have any doubts, we just completed this question. Now, the next question. This is again about a very important term called parole. Okay, it has been in news for a long time. Even during COVID, there was an argument on whether prisoners can be sent out on parole because of COVID and all that. Parole is basically a legal term where a prisoner can be sent out permanently or temporarily. The first one says when a prisoner makes out a sufficient case, parole cannot be denied. This is incorrect. The reason why this is incorrect is parole is subjective. The freedom to give parole is with the governor. So, you know, governor, president, you cannot, there is no condition that once, you know, under these situation you have to give parole. There is no compulsion that parole has to be given. So, this is incorrect. State governments have their own prisoners released on parole, prisoners released on parole rules is correct. Sanjay Dutt case is an example to this. So, the answer would be B. 2 only would be the answer. Alright. Now, moving on. I will towards the end. Sambhav, I am going to. Praveen, the sources will be disclosed along with a very detailed explanation in special classes in the evening. Okay, we have already shared the link in the description. Please click on the link, because you know we are authenticating all the answers that we are giving again. We want to give you with the source of the question, with links that substantiate the answer. That is the reason we have special classes in the evening. Now I am just giving you the key and giving you a very brief explanation about the questions. Now moving on, the next question. 84 talks about the Forest Dwellers Act, which has been constantly in news. Supreme Court has also given a judgment on it. Which ministry is responsible for the Forest Dwellers Recognition of Forest Rights Act 2006? The answer is Ministry of Tribal Affairs. Okay, because it is forest, many people would have marked it environment. No, it is Ministry of Tribal Affairs. This question tells us that we have to know who is responsible for implementation of many laws, which ministry is responsible. This is very, very important. Alright, now moving on, the next. Which of the following in Indian polity is an essential feature of federal form of government? See, federalism has 5 to 6 important features. Whenever you say federalism, there should be 2 governments at least, 2 levels of governments at least. There should be independent judiciary, there should be division of powers, there should be a rigid constitution, supremacy of constitution should be there, bicameralism should be there. If you know these things, you can answer this question very easily. This is a subjective question. We will start from the last. The fundamental rights are enforceable by court of law has nothing to do with federalism, because the question is about federalism. The minute we say federalism, you have to remember center and state. The union cabinet can have elected representatives from regional parties? No. Okay. The union legislature has elected representatives from constituent units? No. The answer is independent judiciary. Independent judiciary is essential to resolve disputes between center and state. It is an important feature of federal form of government. This is a subjective question. Now moving on, the next question. Now this is a question that is based out on political science, the definition of the word state. There are four attributes of a state. State is a feature of the modern period, modernity, they should have a state. State will have 4 attributes. One is population, the second is territory, the third is government, and the most defining attribute of state is sovereignty. In modern period, sovereignty is the most defining feature of a state. Okay, so out of these 4, this is first ruled out because it talks about culture. The reason why it is ruled out is culture. When we use the word culture in political science, we will have to talk about a nation. Okay, nation is a term that is attributed to culture, ethnicity and so on. So this is moved out. Now, this is also moved out because there is no rule that there should be a central authority in the state. This is also ruled out. This is ruled out because it says politically organized people of a definite territory and possessing an authority to govern them, protect, maintain law and order, protect their natural rights, safeguard their means of sustenance. But it is not talking about sovereignty. Now, out of these 2, when you read these 2 options, the first one is the closest to these features of a modern state. Okay, a community of persons, population, occupying a definite territory, independent of external control is sovereignty, possessing an organized government is government. That is the reason A would be the right answer. Okay, now moving on, this is the key. With reference to Indian judiciary, consider the following statements. This is again subjective and this is about retired judges. The first is Article 128. It is based on Article 128. It is about retired judges. Any retired judge of the Supreme Court of India can be called back to sit and act as a Supreme Court judge by the Chief Justice of India with prior permission of the President of India is correct. Okay, Supreme Court judge can be asked to come back and sit and adjudicate a case. This proposal can be made, this request can be made by the Chief Justice, but he has to take permission from the President before he does that. It is clearly picked out from Article 128. A High Court in India has the power to review its own judgment as the Supreme Court does. This is actually reiterated by Kerala High Court in one of the judgments that it has given in 2021. Okay, and the basis for this answer is Article 226. Okay, so this is 88. The answer is C. Now moving on, the next question. 89. With reference to India, consider the following statements. We know that citizenship has been a very hot subject in India. There have been a lot of questions on citizenship in India. So we are going to, we were expecting a question on citizenship. This is based on the constitutional background of citizenship. Okay. Now this, there is only one citizenship and one domicile. This is correct. India provides for single citizenship. Now before you even start answering, always look at the options. There is none of the above option, which means one of the statements essentially should be correct. This is correct. A citizen by birth only can become the head of the state. Nowhere it is written. You just need to be a citizen of India having completed 35 years of age. These are the only two qualifications mentioned in the Constitution. The third one, a foreigner once granted the citizenship cannot be deprived. No, this is incorrect. Can be deprived. What if he conspires against the state? He can be deprived of citizenship. This comes under the Citizenship Amendment Act, Citizenship Act 1955. Okay, so the answer would be A, one only. Okay, now moving on, we are coming. This is a very direct and simple question. Very direct and simple question. We are going to, state is directed to avoid concentration of wealth through which of the following? Right to equality? No. Right to freedom? No. Concept of welfare? No. It is DPSP, it is 39C. Article 39C is the basis. What is the position of the right to property in India? This question is simple, but you have to think properly and answer this question. Okay. Now, this question is again a subjective question. This question is again a subjective question. Here we have, it is based out on 300A, Article 300A. Right to property in India is a legal right available to citizens only, legal right available to any person, fundamental right available to citizens only, neither fundamental right nor legal right. First strike this off because it is no longer a fundamental right. Neither fundamental right nor legal right. This is also not correct because it is a legal right. Now, out of these two, which one will you choose will be based on the content of Article 300A, which says that no person, you know, we always emphasize that you have to know what is given in the Constitution, what is written in the Constitution as it is. No person shall be denied the right to life, right to property except by authority of law. Person is specifically mentioned in 300A. Therefore, person is specifically mentioned in 300A. Therefore, the answer would be legal right available to any person. This would be the answer. All right. Some of the polity questions undoubtedly are easy, but some of them have been difficult. So, you know, it's a mix. I would not say it is all easy or all difficult. It is a mix. Okay. Now, this is about right to property. See that if you notice the questions that we have discussed, there has been a repetition. In fact, the next question is a direct repetition of what has been asked earlier. Okay. So, let us look at the next question and then I will tell you what all questions have been repeated. What was the exact constitutional status of India on 26th January 1950? This question can be answered if you have studied the preamble well. Studying preamble is very, very, very important to understand this. If you have really studied the preamble well, then you will know the answer for this question. Okay. In the preamble, on 26 January 1950, when the Constitution commenced, We have a sovereign democratic republic. This is the answer. Today we have a sovereign socialist secular democratic republic. Sovereign socialist secular democratic, socialist and secular, these two terms have been added by the 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act. This question was asked, the order of these words and inclusion was asked many times earlier. This is a question which you can easily answer if you have practiced previous year question papers. Okay. Now the next question that we have, this is a repetition. Yeah, this is a question that has been constantly asked in your exam over the last few years. See, you know, in polity there is a lot of emphasis on the general concepts, you know, the core concepts they are emphasizing a lot. They want the students to be very clear about the core concepts. So that is the reason why if you study the core concepts well, it is good. The purpose of constitution, you know, we call it as constitutionalism. The idea behind the constitution. The purpose of constitution is to have a limited government. Okay, when you have constitution, the government will not have too much of powers. There will be no concentration of powers. There can be no misuse of powers in the process. The citizens do not suffer. So this question is based on the purpose of constitution. Constitutional government is one which is based on the constitution. Okay. A representative government of a nation with federal structure. There is no rule that if you are a constitutional government, you should have federal structure. There is no rule. So this is ruled out. A government whose head enjoys nominal powers. This actually happens in a parliamentary form of government. It happens in a parliamentary form of government. A government whose head enjoys real powers is related to presidential form of government. So, a government limited by the terms of constitution is the correct answer, because the basic purpose of the constitution is to ensure that there is limited government. Alright. Okay. Now the last question, once I am done with this, I will just share a strategy with you as to how you have to prepare polity. What are the key takeaways from polity questions in this year? We will just look at that. Now 96 is actually not pure polity, it is, but we have put it in polity basically because it is talking about Article 18 Clause 1 of the Constitution. That is the reason I have taken it in polity. Now the question is on Bharat Ratna and Padma Awards. Bharat Ratna and Padma Awards are titles under Article 18 Clause 1. What does Article 18 Clause 1 deal with? It basically deals with abolition of titles. 18 deals with abolition of titles, and 18 Clause 1 specifically says that the state cannot give any titles. State is not entitled to give titles. So basically, Bharat Ratna and Padma Awards are not titles, they are awards. There is a difference between an award and a title. Title is something that you prefix to your name, it indicates your social status, and title is an ascribed one, meaning, you know, it might be given to you because you are born in a particular family, it could be descent based, whereas award is not ascribed. Award is basically a recognition to your services to the society or for your accomplishments. Not any, you know, you can't, any Tom, Dick and Harry cannot get a Padma Award or a Bharat Ratna. There is certain criteria to be met with. Only when you contribute in a particular field or do something, you get an award. So award is not a title. So you cannot flaunt it by putting it in front of your name. There is a very important case called Balaji Raghavan versus Union of India. In this case, Supreme Court very clearly said awards are not titles. If you use them as awards, if you use them as titles, your award can be taken back. Karan, I am going to talk about it. Wait, let me just finish with the last question. I will quickly tell you what to read, how to read, what you should do for polity. Now the number of Bharat, the second, so this one is incorrect, you cannot use it as title period. Second one says Padma Awards which were instituted in the year 1954 were suspended only once is correct. The third one says okay, what they've marked is wrong. The third one says the number of Bharat Ratna awards is restricted to a maximum of 3. Not correct, correct. Are 3. This is also incorrect. So, you know the answer is 1 and 3. Answer should be 1 and 3. Alright. Okay, with this we finish the polity questions. Now we are moving on to discuss what should be your strategy for polity. Okay, what should be the strategy for polity? I'll just tell you what are the key takeaways from this year's exam. Let me put it simple. The first thing that you have to do, required for polity, essential for polity, is please remember that you have to first be very strong in your basic concepts. There are a number of words that you use in polity like sovereignty, constitution, polity, okay, secularism, democracy, then we say parliamentary form of government, republican form of government, federal form of government, unitary form of government. So, there are so many basic terms that we use. These basic concepts, subjective concepts, you should be very clear. You know, when you are reading these, don't just read to understand the meaning of these terms. Try to differentiate between the terms. Why are we saying India is federal but also saying that India is parliamentary form of government? How is it that India is a republic and why is it that Britain is not a republic? So, when you start contemplating, concepts become more clear. It is easy to apply them in the exam and answer. So, this is the first thing that you have to do. The second very important thing that you have to do is please read the articles at least once. Constitutional provisions. Today's paper there were 2 questions on constitutional provisions. 300A was a direct question on constitutional provisions. No person shall be denied of his right to property, except by a procedure established by law. So, please read the concepts very, very carefully. Anurag, it is 18 questions. Okay, I am changing the pen color. I am sorry, I didn't realize that it was. Oh, I have a choice of only 3 colors. So, let me see if I can, this is more visible. Yes. So, constitutional provisions is the second thing. The third thing that I would request you to read is with regard to current affairs. Any term, any law in news, you have to know the meaning of that term. You have to know when there is a law, you know, the agency implementing it, key provisions and ministry which is responsible for it. Okay, very, very important. The third important aspect is SC judgments. And one more caution that I would like to tell you is, please don't think that current affairs is only what is given in the newspaper, what is happening right now. Current affairs for UPSC is not just what is happening, but it is also about what is behind it. Matlab, you know, you should know the backgrounders in detail. So, whenever there is an editorial in the paper, please do not miss it. There are many questions in today's paper, not just in polity, but other subjects also where editorial has been the basis. So, we request you not to miss anything in the editorial. Reading the paper will help you answer a paper like this for at least 25 to 30% of the questions. So, I request you all to please carefully answer, you know, read the question paper, try to note the key terms and so on. Now, coming to the sources, the most important source again remains, you cannot replace NCERTs. NCERTs are very, very important for prelims. Every year there will be at least 4 to 5 questions in various subjects, you know, together in various subjects that come from NCERTs. So please don't give up on NCERTs. Prateek, you have to go by the options that we have. Okay, I'll just take you back to that question. Prateek, we'll discuss it again. Now, these are the essential things that you have to do for polity. As far as I'm concerned, I would only suggest that, you know, polity is not a subject that can be mugged up. Polity is, you can score better when you understand the subject. So, try to understand the concepts. Reasoning out in polity is very important. Why is this there? Will give you a lot of insight, will give you a clarity on the concepts. Now, I am going back to this question on right to property. Coming to your question. Now, right to property is basically based out on Article 300A, alright. It is a legal right available to citizens only, legal right available. See, you have to understand that legal rights, many people do not know this, is a larger classification. Okay, constitutional right is a subset of legal right. Legal rights are divided into constitutional rights and statutory rights. Okay. Those legal rights which are given in the constitution become constitutional rights, those legal rights which are given in the statute become statutory rights. So, all these are legal rights. Please don't think that legal rights is different, constitutional right is different. Constitutional right is a subset of legal right. If I have to say these are legal rights, then one part of it will be constitutional rights, the other part of it will be statutory rights. This will be constitutional. Within constitutional, we will again have a division. In constitutional, again the division goes like this. These will become fundamental rights and these will become other constitutional rights. So, this is how it is. Please remember that legal rights include constitutional rights. Any more questions? I think I am done with polity. I hope the key was clear. I hope the explanation was easy.